This is my review of the Violet Evergarden TV series. I was first introduced to the Violet Evergarden anime through the movie, and I very much enjoyed the film, and I was eager to watch the TV series to provide some much needed background context, because I did enjoy the movie. I just didn't really understand much about the characters or their backstory. And I very much like the premise of the Violet Evergarden, the TV series. Each episode is a new person who needs Violet's help in writing a letter. And I really like how this basic premise provides a lot of variety because each episode is centered around someone different. We get a look in at who they are, their backstory, why they want to write a letter. And the way I see it, they gave themselves each episode to introduce a new character, give us a good reason to care about this new character, and then to have Violet interact with them in a meaningful way. And the common denominator throughout all these episodes is Violet. And I really like the character of Violet. So having her in different situations, interacting with different people, is a good way to change it up and offer various storylines. This isn't a prerequisite for every successful anime series. In fact, Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is my favorite anime series of all time, it doesn't follow this formula. It doesn't have to. I'm just making the point that for this specific series, it seems to work very well, and they utilize the premise to everyone's benefit. Though this premise does deviate slightly towards the end of the series, and for good reason. The way they hinted at Violet's past and dropped clues throughout was very well done. It was very subtle, but these were only tidbits of information. We weren't going to get anything more substantial until the end, and they certainly delivered. It was worth the wait. I'll admit that I was a little bit confused as to whether Violet was a human or a robot or a hybrid. She always seemed quite robotic in speech and movement, and I don't remember seeing her cry all that much, or even at all. So maybe I was missing something, but it was something I was very excited about to find out at the end. And the end delivered. I can't remember exactly how many of the last episodes were dedicated to finding out about Violet's past and how she got to where she is today, but they really took their time and it was very well done. And they blended flashback scenes with present time very seamlessly to present a very powerful interwoven story about Violet. Because although a large part of the premise is about how Violet helps these other characters, they're not what this anime is about at its core. This anime is about Violet Evergarden, hence the name. She's the main character, she's the protagonist, she's in every episode. This is ultimately her story. And the end was a very well-deserved and earned payoff, where we discovered Violet's full backstory and the events that led up to the person that she is today. It was very powerful and compelling storytelling, and I really enjoyed this series. If you've seen some of my other anime reviews, you'll know that one of the biggest reasons why I love it so much is that the style and the feel of the whole genre is very different to conventional Western entertainment that we're used to, or that I'm used to at least. And I love this uniqueness because it isn't trying to fit a certain mold that, I've seen in 100 movies out of Hollywood. It's like a looking glass through to another culture, an Eastern culture, a culture that I'm actually very fond of. And Violet Evergarden does this extremely well. I feel very warm and relaxed whenever I watch it. It's almost comforting. Though I must say that good storytelling transcends culture. To some degree, it even transcends language. So it's not that I love anime just because it's a different culture. That is part of it, but there are plenty of animes that I don't like because the storytelling isn't gripping or compelling. I love anime because of the culture it depicts and the powerful storytelling that undergirds it, of which Violet Evergarden does a wonderful job. What did I not like? I don't have any harsh critiques of the series. I thoroughly enjoyed it and actually plan to rewatch it again when the time's right. If there was anything to nitpick, I might point out that because of the nature of Violet as a character, being quite robotic and a little bit cold, sometimes it was like watching a robot devoid of normal human emotions. And not to say that that's less entertaining, and actually, Violet's complete ignorance of social norms has been a source of comedy throughout the series. But this can foster a reliance upon the new character introduced every episode that Violet interacts with that they need to be interesting, and that if they're not, it can potentially make the episode feel like it's lacking a little bit. I don't remember any specific episode where this ruined it beyond the point of enjoyment. It was just something minor that I noticed as I watched the series. But that's something very minor, and I just have to reiterate how much I love the Violet Evergarden character. She's very unique, and I always found her interactions with people very intriguing and interesting. So this is an excellent series. I actually do find it more difficult to watch full anime TV series as opposed to movies, and in large part because of the obvious time disparity between the two. But just as a whole, I seem to enjoy anime films more. So an anime TV series has to be very gripping and entertaining for me to watch it all the way through. There are more anime series where I've only watched a few episodes and then tapped out, as opposed to series where I watch it all the way through. So that the Violet Evergarden series was an anime where I watched all the episodes and really enjoyed it. It's a testament to how highly I regard it. I'd even go so far as to say that this is what anime is all about when done right. This is what an anime done right looks like. And that's very high praise coming from someone who loves anime as much as me. So I don't really rate TV series. It's just a lot more content and it makes it harder to give it a rating out of 10. So I don't really get into it, whereas I do with movies. But just know that I love this series. And if you haven't seen it yet, you really need to. You owe it to yourself. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review, and check out some other videos on my channel for more anime and Pokemon content.